We got a new fusion starting this Monday, Ishiyama the Immovable, and we're going to be going over and breaking down his kit. Welcome in, my name is PJ, this is another HL in this video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the new fusion. It is going to be a fragment fusion starting May 5th, so it's going to be one of the easier styles of fusions. There's 3 different kinds of styles of fusions, and fragment is generally the easiest. You can save it for the future future events, future CVCs, other champion chases, or fusions, so it's nice. You don't have to pull it right away. Well, let's get right into the kit. We'll start with the A1 and we'll go down. So the A1 attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit transfers a random debuff from this champion to the target. If this champion is under any debuffs when attacked, counterattacks with this skill. Okay, pretty solid A1. You got to be careful. So he is going to be a HP based damage dealer. We'll just get that off the rip. I didn't talk about that yet. He's an HP based damage dealer from Shadowkin. Very similar to Riptide, I think. Riptide is, I would say, a little bit better, but I kind of see some similarities, HP based, both from Shadowkin. But yeah, so this dude, A1, not bad. You have to give him some accuracy depending on what you want to do with him. We can take a look at his passive down the line, but hey, stop right there. Click in the description right now for you to get a free legendary Karato Fox Hunter along with 4 free amazing epic champions as you level up. Here are the exact steps that you need to follow. Step 1. Log out of Player and Play on PC and uninstall. If you have never had Raid installed on your mobile phone before, the link will work there too. Step 2, click the link in the description and register with a brand new email. Step 3, launch Raid and complete the tutorial. Step 4, go to the inbox and claim your champion. Here we go. Karato Fox Hunter will be there waiting for you in the inbox. This is an amazing start to your account and you do not want to miss it. So make sure you click the link in the description, follow the steps, and don't forget, tell a friend. It looks like maybe you're going to need accuracy. The A2 attacks all enemies, has a 75 books to a 100% chance of placing a fear, also decreased crit damage, and then a 30% decreased crit rate on all enemies for 2 turns. These debuffs cannot be resisted by enemies who are already under 2 or more debuffs. This, to me, looks like you're going to have to bring other debuffers to go with him, because you're not going to want to really give him accuracy. Ideally, you don't want to give your damage dealer accuracy because you want to give them nuking stats. You want to give them speed or crit damage, crit rate, HP for in this case, and if you give them accuracy, then you have to lower those stats. So you're gonna want to bring someone else that brings in debuffs, multiple debuffs. The other thing that I don't really like about this move is that it's fear and not true fear. If they're gonna give them a fear or true fear mechanic, I'd rather give them true fear because it's a lot better. True fear, if it procs, then you miss the skill, it goes on cooldown, where a fear is a fear, if it procs, you don't miss the cooldown stays and you can just use it next turn. So I'd rather have been a true fear than a fear. And then the decreased crit damage and decreased crit rate, kind of unique. You don't really see them use that much in Arena. It could be interesting in Chimera. I believe there's some trials for decreased crit rate and decreased crit damage and also fear in Chimera, so it could be interesting there. But as far as PvP, not the greatest debuffs. So, I don't know, I wish there would have been something different, or maybe don't have any debuffs and have it be ignore defense, because there's no ignore defense in the A2. So depending on how hard it hits, really can change how good or bad the move is. And then the A3, finish them. Attacks one enemy will ignore 25% of the target's defense, will ignore 50% of the target's defense if the target is under 2 or more debuffs. Also, places block damage buff on this champion for 2 turns if this attack kills an enemy. That's kind of nice. Give him some survivability. He has HP base, so he'll be pretty tanky to begin with, and then 2-turn block damage is even harder to kill. I do like the ignore defense, the 25 and the 50%. Again, unless you're going to give him accuracy, it might be tough to land the debuffs from him, so you're going to probably have to bring another debuffer to go along with it. In Arena, you got to be careful. I will say that Sheep in Arena nowadays, I think, is kind of falling off a little bit, and it's going towards more Lightning Cage, honestly, especially with Embrace. I did an Embrace showcase a few days ago, and Lightning Cage is really one thing that disrupts him, and I think more people are going to go towards Lightning Cages. Also, with the Wanda submission out there, being able to reflect the polymorph and reflect debuffs, I kind of can see a little bit of a shift out of polymorph, so debuffing nukers could get a little bit more of a appearance here in the future. Still wouldn't be the best. Like I said, you're going to sacrifice stats to give them accuracy, where you rather give them damage, but it could shine a little bit here. And then the passive, whenever an enemy resists a debuff placed by this champion, the next debuff placed by this champion cannot be resisted. Each debuff placed by this champion increases their max HP by 3%, stacks up to 30%. So over long battles, Chimera, not really an Arena. Hydra, but I don't think he's really a Hydra champion. I say more for Chimera. He's going to stack up the damage. It's interesting because Polarium set in their like little blurb about him that they think of him as an arena nuker. I'm not sure what kind of arena fight they think that he's going to be able to stack up 30% of his max HP. Like, that's a really long fight. Most fights aren't lasting that long, and if they are lasting that long, I am so sorry. That's going to be a decent amount of time. So kind of feels a little counterbalance, or it doesn't really add up, where they want him to be an arena nuker, but that seems to be more for longer battles, kind of like Chimera or PvE. So kind of interesting. But to get back to the first part of it, whenever an enemy resists a debuff placed by this champion, the next debuff placed by this champion cannot be resisted. That's pretty nice. So that will actually help him not necessarily need to give him accuracy. You don't have to build as much accuracy, because if he gets resisted, the next time you try to replace, it can't be resisted. And if you guys do not know, if a debuff cannot be resisted, you do not need accuracy. Can build him with accuracy, but then you also don't have to, and it should still work pretty well, but it's not going to be every time. It's going to be like every other time. Because the A1 is a double hitter, I think that every other hit should transfer a debuff, which is kind of nice. It's a good way of debuffs off of you and onto their team. Again, you have to be careful about polymorph, but like I said, I feel like polymorph is slipping down a little bit. And then the aura, increase all HP in battles by 20%. I like all HP auras. I wish it would have been speed or something like that, but every aura can't be speed, sadly. So HP in all battles is not bad. Makes sense, he's an HP nuker. Overall, how do I feel about him? So we really got to see what the multipliers are. When Polarium does fusions, especially damage dealer fusions, it's really tough to rate them without seeing the multipliers. So maybe something they do in the future. I know a lot of other CCs and people have said this in the past, but it'd be nice if we could see the multipliers, and if they would release the multipliers when they release like this kind of sneak peek of the move, so we could get a little bit of idea of how they're going to hit. Obviously, we can wait, and the CCs on the test server will get access and do a showcase, so we can see then, but it would be nice if they did the multipliers a little bit earlier so we could get a better judge of the champion. So with that being said, first thing, we gotta see the multipliers. That's gonna determine a lot. But as far as the kit itself, it seems okay. I could see him being good for hard faction wars, honestly. I could see some type of trial or some type of thing needing fear or decreased crit damage or decreased crit rate, or maybe you need a certain amount of debuffs on them before you kill them. So he could be good for PvE. For PvP, maybe if you're more progressing. But the thing is you really need, if your champions that you have now, your damage dealers have 4-star blessing, it's really hard to get a new character, like a new damage dealer, and use them without a 4-star blessing, just because it's such a big chunk of stats that you're getting. So you're gonna have to try to get a 4-star blessing or better for him as well. Depending on how they do that, it's gonna be a lot of resources. So it's tough. I'm not sure if he's going to spot or fit into one of your arena teams right away. Depending on how hard he hits, it really, I would say, is a big factor. It really reminds me a lot of Riptide, like I said earlier. We can take a look at Riptide. Riptide is also HP-based Spirit Champion. He is a double hitter. He's kind of around Veil. Each has a 75% chance of stealing random buff. Cannot be resisted if they're under Veil or Perfect Veil. So similar-ish. This is stealing buff versus giving them debuffs. A single target ignores target's defense, also strengthen, stone skin if they're under Veil. And it has an AoE before attacking Veil, gives himself increased crit damage. So a little bit of similarities, I don't know, just because they're HP based and Spirit, both as Shadowkin, and he came out pretty recently, I kind of just think of him. I will say though that I think that they did miss on this fusion, not because of the fusion itself, but because of what Shadowkin lacks. And it kind of scares me because it kind of shows how out of touch Polarium might be with their game and what they need. Because we did need a Shadowkin fusion, like they are correct, that is 100% what we needed, but we didn't need another damage dealer. We got plenty of damage dealers, Gentoro, Ninja, Mishinaki, Blade Master, Tatatsu, Harima. I mean, we got Genzen, Karato, Arashi, we have Ayasu. I mean, we have plenty. We have Genbo as a Void. Like, we have plenty of damage dealers, but what does this faction not have? A reviver. There's not really any good reviver. If we take a look at the legendaries, I believe the only reviver is Gameran, and his revive is a condition. So revives one ally if he kills an enemy. Excuse me. So that's not really reliable. And then there's a few other revivers down here, like King Agashi, I think is the only actual reviver that has a revive, and it's not like a conditional revive. There might be a rare that has a revive, but I think that is kind of ridiculous, especially with hard faction wars coming out, that there's no legendary reviver for Shadowkin. So I 100% agree that Shadowkin needed a fusion, and I think they were spot on with that, but I think it was a big miss, and it wasn't a reviver. Again, they could have done the new dude that is the guaranteed that everyone's gonna get, Artor. He could have been a Shadowkin. He's a reviver, would have been amazing. I think if his kit would have been a Shadowkin kit, it would have been pretty nice. Could have left the same exact thing, just switched him to Shadowkin. But I think it was a big miss. I don't think the champion itself is that bad, but I do think it's bad that they're so out of touch and didn't realize that we need a Shadowkin reviver really badly. And there's not really anyone outside of being conditional. I think Sachi also has a conditional revive. Revives a random ally with 30% HP whenever this champion kills an enemy. But again, like we can't have a revive relying on killing people for some of these game modes and some of the future stuff that they're going to drop. So that kind of worries me a little bit that it's not a reviver and that is a nuker, and they have plenty of nukers, and they a few months ago actually just dropped Arashi, who's HP based, who's a spirit. So it feels like it's a little bit of a miss. I think they could have hit big on a Shadowkin reviver and the community would have been really happy. But let me know what you guys think. Please leave a like, leave a comment, hit that subscribe button. We are closing in on the 500 subscriber mark. I don't think he's the worst. I think a lot of people are probably going to skip him. If you're late game, end game, I don't think you're going to need him, but you're going to probably have the resources to get him. If you're early game, mid game, you might want to save your resources for a better champion. He could be one of your only mechs or HP based damage dealers, which is something to think about. It is good to have a variety of attack, defense, and HP. You don't want all attack or all defense or all HP because you're going to run out of good gear for them, and you're going to need different attackers depending on like who you're facing. So you want to have a variety, and that's just kind of how this game is in general. You want to have a variety of champions. So this dude definitely brings some interesting things. The fear, decreased crit damage, decreased crit rate. He kind of gives himself some block damage, some survivability. He's okay. I got to really see how the multipliers are, but I think the bigger thing is that it's not a reviver, Shadowkin reviver, which I'm kind of sad. Also, I am probably going to go for him. Just going to squeeze this in. I go for every fusion. I like doing them. I think it's just fun to do. I enjoy them. I save my resources for them. So I'm going to be going for him, even though I don't think he's insane. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I think a lot of people are going to skip. But yeah, I hope you have a good rest of your day / night, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace!